So rumors regarding a larger iPad Pro have been prevalent for years, but nothing has materialized. However, we now have a report that we could see a 14-inch iPad with advanced iPadOS features in the near future. So the source behind this report is 941 Analyst, who was the first to tell us about the island on the 14 Pro, so they're somewhat credible. However, I do want to emphasize that, as I said, we've heard so much about this iPad becoming more pro, but nothing has really happened. Every year we expect things like Final Cut or Logic for iPadOS, and every year we get disappointed. So please don't get your hopes up for this, these are just leaks. So what does the report tell us? Well, apparently a more advanced version of iPadOS 17's in the works, and this will only be available for a new 14.1-inch iPad Pro Apple plans to release next year that should have the M3 Pro chip. Now this iPad not only is going to be bigger but could support two 6K panels at 60Hz via Thunderbolt, so maybe there could be multiple ports on this iPad. And by the way, would like to remind you guys, like this video and subscribe for more content like this, it would be appreciated. Now, what kind of features can we expect with an advanced version of iPadOS? Well, the source really says nothing apart from the fact we could see pro apps. Apparently Final Cut's coming in 2024 and Logic Pro is coming in 2025. What's also pretty great is that these apps allegedly won't be butchered and downgraded for the iPads. It should be one-to-one with the Mac apps and should be optimized for touch. Now all of this sounds fantastic and sounds like a wishes for many years is gonna come true, but I'm still doubtful about this. As I said, we've heard all this before. Remember John Prosser said years ago Final Cut was coming to the iPads, and with the inclusion of the M1, many thought 2021 would be the year iPad gets huge software features, but we literally got nothing. However, if Apple really is developing a larger iPad, this really is the only way it could make sense. As I've said in the past, a larger iPad Pro would be pointless without actual software features, and so I'm glad a more pro version of iPadOS is in the works. But I guess after Apple screwing us over for many years, I'm a little more doubtful about reports like this. Also, I do wonder what the price of the 14-inch iPad could be, because if it does get mini LED or OLED, it could be $1,400 or $1,500, which is pretty insane for an iPad, especially when you have to buy the keyboards and the pencil separately. But I guess for those who want the flexibility the iPad form factor offers, I do hope we see these changes. Another question we don't have an answer for is when we're going to see this pro version of iPadOS release. Could they preview this at WWDC before the release of the new larger iPads? I'm not sure, but I do hope that's the case. Talking about iPadOS 17, for those wondering what kind of changes other iPads could get, it does not seem like it's going to be much. So the same source says the apparent headline feature for iPadOS could be lock screen changes that we saw with iOS 16. Yay, I guess. Is anyone actually excited for that? I don't think so, but yeah, Apple's really always done this with iPadOS. They introduce a feature first to iOS, and then only a year later iPadOS gets it. Why iPadOS 16 did not just have these lock screen changes in the first place is beyond me. Anyways, let's now delve into your questions. So David Lazarus regarding more expensive iPad models says, my 12.9-inch iPad Pro was expensive, but I went with 1TB of storage because I was using it for movies. A couple of hundred extra for an excellent screen would be a reasonable trade-off. I have not bothered with the Magic keyboards as I think it's really overpriced. I also don't have the pencil because I don't have a need for it. Without those, it's much more affordable. So I believe this comment was from the video regarding OLED iPads costing as much as $1,800, which I'm still hoping is not the case. But fair enough, if you don't need the accessories, you could justify the price for the larger OLED display. However, I doubt many are using an iPad Pro without a keyboard or a pencil, so I still think for most, $1,800 is too expensive. If anything, Apple should offer a student bundle where you get this iPad with the keyboard and pencil for $1,600 or $1,700, in which case this could be similar in price to an equivalent MacBook. So BM Asad Dude says, I think they should do $1,000 and $1,200 at the max. If they even raise the price at all, I think $1,500 and $1,800 is a crazy jump from $600 for 120Hz OLED and a newer design. I think it should still be $800 and $1,100 like they are right now. And I completely agree, unless these iPads really do give us all the features we love about macOS, they are better off sticking to current prices. And as you say, jump from $600 for the Air to $1,500 for the smaller Pro with OLED would be insane, and so I would not be surprised if both the 11-inch and 12.9-inch stay at the same prices with mini LED panels, and the 14-inch is an Ultra model instead that has OLED, but also is way more expensive. That's basically what Apple did with the Apple Watch range, and we have more reports the iPhone 16 series could be structured in a similar way, so yes, I could see this also applying to iPads. So Joe says, wait until you hear about the 14-inch iPad Pro prices Ross Young was reporting on. $2,000 to $3,000 iPads. Apple is killing their own iPad range. It's already expensive to get an iPad Pro with mini LED, and you have to get a Magic Keyboard and the pencil. What would be worse is Apple copying the iPhone range and not including chargers in the box to reach their 0% carbon goal in 2030. The future of iPads is bleak, unless iPadOS can justify the cost. Currently, Stage Manager is a feature I use, and DaVinci on iPads is cool, but where are the Pro apps? The iPad line has been getting leftovers from the plate. Even Quinn from Snazzy Lab says, Apple needs to be careful with these prices. The recession is uncertain, but Apple's bottom line will be affected. Many consumers won't like this change, and they're going to move elsewhere or buy cheaper iPads instead of the higher end models. Notice how all the tech creators talk about refurbished and third-party deals now. So first of all, I completely forgot Ross Young told us these OLED iPads could be that expensive. However, to be honest, rumors regarding pricing have been all over the place, but I completely agree with you, Joe. Whilst a more advanced version of iPadOS sounds pretty promising, it's still going to be inferior to macOS, and so they really can't charge Mac prices for an iPad. And you're right, the recession is a major aspect Apple should consider, I guess. They think that the brand loyalty people have for their products means they will get away with this pricing, and while that's the case for iPhones and the Apple Watches, I don't think the iPad's good enough, where most are going to spend $2,000 on a new iPad. Because unlike the iPhone and the Apple Watch, I wouldn't say the iPad is a must-have product. You could easily have an ecosystem where you just have a Mac instead for all your computing needs. I myself only use my iPad for watching YouTube and Netflix, and so I could pretty easily live without it. Now yes, that does not apply to everyone, but I'm pretty sure most in the creative fields use Macs more often than iPads. So I don't think the loyalty for Apple's tablets is as strong as other products. And yes, with these high prices, it just makes more sense to get refurbished products like you mentioned, and I will definitely be considering going that route when I get my next iPad. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching.